Awesome. Thank you, tech team, for hosting the video. Hello, everyone. A very good evening to everyone logging in from across the country. We are Praveen and Pravalika, and we are going to be the hosts for this session tonight. I work in the automotive industry, while my wife Pravalika, she works in IT. We already have our guest speakers in the Zoom room tonight, by the way. So let's get started without any further ado. Pravalika?
Welcome everyone. I am Pravalika, as Praveen mentioned. I would like to take a moment to make sure all the participants here are aware of the ground rules and etiquette expected for the session today. Please make sure your video is on and audio is on mute unless invited by the speaker to participate in a conversation. This is to maintain focus and minimize distractions. Please refrain from having any food or beverages during the session to prevent any distraction to the speaker. A glass of water is fine though. If you were to keep your video off for an extended period of time, the tech team might move you to the waiting room, and you'll also have to request to rejoin the session again. Thank you for your cooperation and looking forward to the session ahead.
Yep, thanks, Pravalika. If you do need to take a couple of minutes off video, please do let the moderators know. You'll see them with their names -moderator on your Zoom screen, and they'll give you a grace for a couple of minutes to be off the video. We understand if things happen, right? Excellent. As I said earlier, we already have our guest speakers in the Zoom room tonight. For those of you who haven't heard from our speakers earlier, you are in for a treat tonight. Mr. Shail and his wife Mukta are extremely successful in their careers. Shail has a background in electronics and instrumentation and currently works as an IT Scrum lead in the finance and banking sector. While Mukta has her MBA in finance and currently works as a product owner and Scrum lead in the healthcare industry. Great careers, right? But what sets this couple apart is, along with such careers, they have also established a global business and currently coach and mentor folks on their team to do the same. We thank you, Shail and Mukta, for accepting the invitation from the team here and coming here to share your experience and your wisdom here tonight. Without any further ado, please help me welcome Mr. Shail and Mukta Kandelwal.
Awesome. Thank you, Praveen and Pravalika. Appreciate your nice words. And hello, everyone. Welcome to this session. We are Shail and Mukta, like Praveen and Pravalika said, based out of Chicago. By background, I work in banking and finance in IT. Mukta works as a product owner. We'll be sharing the next probably 45 to 50 minutes with you on some basic concepts tonight. Okay. So hope you have some pen and paper or some digital device ready to take some notes. But I'm going to have Mukta introduce herself and we'll get started.
Hello, everyone. Good evening and welcome to this event to all the people who have joined us for the first time. And congratulations for qualifying to this far. Up until now, you've been through various level of interactions with your engagement partners. Like they must have shared a book with you. They must have had a session where why do you want to do something beyond your existing commitments? And now is the time you have qualified to understand the what and the who we are. So while I always enjoy Shail's presentation, sharing the plan on what, is very empowering. It is centered around values. I do hope that you also get to see the credibility of people that we are partnered with. And again, all the best to you for your future engagements, and I'll pass it on to Shail.
Awesome. Thank you, Mukta. So before we get started and before I request the, yeah, that's fine. Yeah, you can take it. Before I request the tech team to fire up the slide deck, a few basic questions. Anybody here for the first or second time still looking to evaluate the opportunity and potentially get a partnership offer? If you want to share your name and maybe background. If you've been invited here for the first or second time to look at the business presentation, feel free to, I don't bite and I'm on a video anyways. So feel free to open up and share. You might have to unmute yourself. Okay, cool. All right, so let me just pick a name here, Evans. Okay, I see Evans here. Evans, is it okay if we have a little bit chat today?
Yes.
Okay, all right. Where are you from, Evans?
From Ghana.
Okay, and currently where do you live?
And currently I'm in Saskatoon.
Saskatchewan, okay, all right. Nice Canada, okay, fantastic. So Evan, what brings you here? Sorry, Evans, right? Am I getting it right?
Yes.
Evan, what brings you here? Why are you here?
Yeah. So I have a I have a friend
Mhm.
on LinkedIn called Joanne.
Okay.
She introduced me to
Okay.
this program in terms of the business, because through our conversation, she realized that I had that passion in order to do something for myself. So she introduced this business to me, and I liked it.
Okay.
So that was how I got to know about this. And
Fantastic.
from there, we went on to have a series of conversations with Naku,
Okay.
and then I was invited to this program.
Awesome. Good. So somebody met you on LinkedIn and gave you an overview, had a discussion. They took you through a couple of steps to pre-qualify you. And obviously they saw something in you that made them feel confident enough that you can be a part of a business team. Okay. Also remember that their confidence comes from who they already know that they are part of. Right? So at the end of the session tonight, whether what I share makes sense or not, and whether my version of the English is comprehensible for you or not, make sure you go back and thank them for at least giving you the opportunity to look at the details tonight. Okay, great. Then I would probably interact with you in a few minutes. Maybe let me pick up one more name. Prijesh and Drashti, I see in the middle of my screen. Are you guys okay to share?
Mm. Hi everyone.
Hello.
So basically, this is our second business meeting. We have joined the last week as well.
Okay.
So
Any
myself,
mistakes I
Brijesh,
made?
and my wife, Drishti.
Okay. Any mistakes I made from the first time, make sure you go back to the person who is interacting with you. Okay. So, but good. Where are you guys based out of?
So currently we are located in the Brampton, Ontario.
Brampton, Ontario. Okay. Canada is in the house. All right.
Yeah.
Good. Great. And I will maybe come back to a few more people along the way. Okay. So now let me ask. Okay. Let's say I have Shri. I see you online. Shri, are you okay to share? Let me
Yes,
just ask a quick question. How
yes,
much do you think this pen would cost?
probably
I
five
get it at
bucks.
Walmart. It's a simple ballpoint pen.
What, $2 to $5?
Okay, great. How much do you think Walmart paid to make it?
Uh,
Sell it.
like 50 cents.
Okay. So tonight we'll talk about the remaining 150. Is that okay?
Yep.
That's the agenda. Simple as that. Okay. I want to keep seeing things very simple for those of you who are here for the first or second time. You might be going through multiple steps, but that is for your engaging partner to make sure they partner up with the right ambitious candidate who is looking to do more in life. The business itself is simple, not necessarily easy, but simple. Okay, and I'm going to do my best to keep it that way. Okay, may I please request the tech team to share the slide deck? Okay, next slide please. Great. So a few key points on this slide as you take a moment to read through it. Okay, while we are taking you through a series of steps, what we are really looking for is your willingness and a desire somewhere deep within to have and do and be more in life than just a successful professional. Okay, because one thing is for sure, whatever you are doing today, either academic or professional, you will have a good life. Okay, you are already a hardworking, sincere person. Otherwise, you wouldn't have qualified for this step of the process. Okay, now where you take from this step onward depends on what more you want in life than just beside a cushy job. Okay, and your willingness to learn is going to be the key in deciding that. Why? Because we are all mature adults. I have a, Mukta and I have an 11-year-old son. Okay. Sometimes if he doesn't want to eat, we can't force him. So if we can't do that with the 11-year-old, I don't think we can do it with a 22-year-old adult either. Okay. So this has to be your desire and your wanting than more than us trying to convince you. We are here to educate you, not to impress you, not to convince you. Okay? All right. At the same time, among the many things that either help someone like you or help me initially when I was in the process was that I was able to choose to make my own decision based on the information I saw. I have a lot of good family friends and well-wishers in life, but well-wishers don't necessarily convert into people who actually help you build a financial portfolio. Make sense? So understand the difference between well intentioned and well informed. Okay. All right. Next slide, please. This is the agenda. Okay. We'll talk about next 45 minutes, primarily focused on step number 4 and 6, the plan and the next steps. All right. Next step, please. Okay. Now, let me see. Dilshad, did you get a chance to read any books? Any material that your engaging partner might have shared?
Yeah, The
Okay.
Business of 21st
25.
Century by Robert. Yeah.
Now I'm going to put you on spot, but do you recall what are the four um, in these four quadrants, right? What are the
Uh-huh.
value system for people in each of those quadrants? Do you want to share a couple of them?
Yeah, for the employment quadrant, they want to be secure, like they don't want to take any risk, and they just want some sort of security. And for the small business quadrant, they want some sort of freedom. The difference between small business and business system is like the scalability difference. The small business are still working like employment, but they are like free to do any work. The business system, like they own, like they made people to do their work.
Okay, okay, great. Disha, if I may ask you, what would you choose between a business system versus investment based on what you know so far?
Uh, I think I would choose an investment.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the whole idea is at some point in time, we need to take ourselves out of the active picture of building income. Initially, our effort and our skill set builds our income through employment or even in a small business, right? Eventually, if we want to live a good life, we need to have assets that create income initially with our active involvement and eventually without active involvement. And that's what the investment quadrants are for. But the challenge is if I save my $10 from my paycheck, how many shares can I buy in the investment quadrant? And what if they go down? Make sense? So yes, we need to be in the investment quadrant. What we're going to talk about today is a way to get there in a very strategic way without impacting what you're doing full time, academics, profession, family life, whatever that be. Okay. All right. Now, in the business system, okay, there are four key features we want to look at. Number one, a business should be something that you can start with a very reasonable investment of time, money, capital, risk, connections, resources, all the different things that you need for a business, right? If I never grew up with a business background, right? So if I needed to jump into a business, I needed all of this. At the starting point, it has to be at a level where I can take the risk, dare myself to do something, right? If the initial business, like for example, if you open a Pizza Hut, if you buy a Pizza Hut franchise, right, you can be very successful. But the challenge is where will the money come from to get it in the first place, right? So idea is to have a business that you can start with low risk, time, money, effort investment. Second, even if you start something for low risk, time, money investment, your operating costs and risk also have to be manageable. Just because I can start a business for a low cost doesn't mean I can run it for a low cost. In the heat of summer, if my son starts a lemonade stand, he probably doesn't need to pay a rental price for that place. He can just get a table and chair. But now you need the lemons, the ice, the water, the glasses, probably something to cool, right? Operating cost increases. Now this is just lemonade stand. Imagine an actual traditional business. Okay, so that's point number 2, low operating cost. Point number 3, at some point your business has to grow, scale, where it can potentially give you larger returns. At the very least, it should be able to add on to what you make as a full-time career. So if you make 100K, think about having a business that can give you additional 100 on top of your career. Scalable. Point number 4, which I spoke in a minute back, it is passive only when I can walk away from it without impacting the income. How will that happen? The income has to be based out of an asset that is independent of myself. When I go to a job, I'm not building my asset. I'm building my employer's asset, right? If I need to build a passive income stream, I need to build an asset that can last. Okay, so we'll talk about those 4 things: low startup, low operating cost, a scalable model, and something that generates asset that creates income. Okay, and what kind of assets? Recession proof. That's the key today. That's in everybody's mind today. Okay, especially I think I heard stocks went down today. I have no clue how much they were up and I have no clue how much they are down, but I just know they are down. Some people are upset. Okay, so we need assets that are recession proof. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, let me ask Ganesh. Ganesh, pick a category here and tell me a little bit about something you're really passionate about. Doesn't have to be anything with money, but something in one of these categories on the right that really means a lot.
Freedom.
What does freedom mean to you, Ganesh?
Yes, whenever we want to do, we need to do those things, irrespective. For money.
Okay, fair enough, right? So we'll talk a little bit about generating that income that can give you freedom. Okay, now today is your first introduction. Maybe in the past nobody ever asked you what do you really want. My engaging partner asked me, what would you do if you had enough time and money? And for a moment I was like a deer in front of headlights. I'm like, is it even possible? What kind of question is that, right? But do you know people are like that, living a life where money is not a concern? There are. They just have access to different information, different platform, different ways, right? So we will discuss one of those today. All right, great. Next slide, please. By the way, in my and you don't have to change the slide, moderator, but in the previous slide, my goal was just to supplement my job income, so I don't have to worry about what if. Okay, that was my goal. Okay, security. All right, next slide, please. Thank you. Okay, now this is the equation we talked about. Okay, we take our time and skill, trade it for income, and then trade that money to buy things that we need. Okay, now from the things that we buy, let's say from Walmart, grocery stores, Amazons of the world, our expense is their business. Economics 101, true? What we will talk about is redirecting our expense through our own business, so a portion of that becomes our income again. Remember I told you we'll talk about simple concepts. Okay, all right, next slide, please. Okay, so now in order to, okay, let me ask Mosam. Okay, sorry, Mosam, did I pronounce your name right? Mosam?
Yeah.
Okay, Mosam and Asu, is that right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, Mosam and Asu, if you are, let's say you are both engineers, okay, for now, what would it take for you to become doctors? Different
Study.
education, right? You will have to go through a different set of education. If
Yeah.
you're an electrical engineer and want to become a mechanical, you'll have to study something different, right? So for us to go from an employee mindset and work habit today to become a business builder, what will we need? Different education.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, the key is to get to a job, we did schooling, college, 16 years plus at least, right? Here we are talking about a 2 to 5 year time frame to be able to supplement your professional income with a business income. Is that trade-off fantastic? 16 years plus 2 to 5? Does that make sense? Awesome. Now, in those 16 years, you probably went to school good 8 to 10 hours and then studied and did homework and assignment, right? Here we are talking about 10 to 12 hours a week on top of your academics, career, whatever you guys are doing. Make sense? So is that a manageable time frame, 10 to 12 hours a week?
Definitely, yes.
Evenings, weekends, right? So tomorrow, don't go back to your engaging partner after looking at the opportunity and tell them, I don't think I have time.
Yeah.
Fair enough? Okay, you can tell them why you don't like this opportunity, but just be reasonable about it, okay? Again, I'm not trying to put you guys on spot here, okay? All right, next slide, please. Okay, now, remember we said simple business, okay? So what are we doing in this business, okay? 3 things. We will redirect our buying habits through our own business. Now you guys have read The Business of 21st Century. We'll build a network of people who do the same. And then I'll explain you towards the end of this conversation how doing these 2 basic things in the first 2 to 5 years can get you to a level where you can supplement your own professional income. And then the remaining 2 to 5 years and beyond, you can actually start building assets that generate income while you sleep. Okay, so now in our business ecosystem, there are 3 distinct entities. Okay, first is the platform. We'll talk about that in a second. Okay, some of the top tech companies built it. Okay, we operate in 100+ countries. You don't have to build the website, write the code, support the servers, do production support at late night. Okay, none of that. It's all taken care. The second entity we have is partner stores for products and service. Right now, Amazon is the biggest e-commerce website today. But does Amazon make anything, Shri? Not really. Disha, have you ever seen Facebook? Have you ever spent money on Facebook?
No,
No. But how come it is a multi-billion, probably $1 trillion company? It's
maybe
making
because people are addicted to it.
correct. Attention is the new currency. You're right on spot. Today's currency is attention. Instagram, Reels, WhatsApps, whatever you want to call it, Snapchat, whatever it is, right? Attention is the new currency. All these companies have our attention. Today, if I have to think about buying something, I live a mile from Walmart and a mile from grocery store, each on each side of my house. But the first thing that comes to my mind if I want to buy something is Amazon. That is what Amazon has built. I am an asset for them now. Make sense? So we'll talk about that. Now, in our group of companies, we have some exclusive range of products that provide you high quality products and services that have 6 months unconditional satisfaction guarantee. Now, Ganesh, if you bought, let's say, a pen, or maybe not a pen, but let's say a toothpaste from Walmart or any other grocery store that you go to, okay? And let's say you use it for 10 days and you don't like it. Either you don't like the flavor or you don't think it is any different from the one I was using prior. Whatever be the case, do you think you can go back and return?
No, we are using that. We cannot give it back to them.
Right? For our exclusive range of products, you can return it up to 180 days, even if you have used it for a while. No questions asked, 100% money back guarantee. Why? Because these products are based out of 50 plus years of research, 1200 plus patents. I'll talk about that in a second. Okay. Now, in addition to some of the core products that take care of the basic needs of night, anybody know what FMCG is? Dilshat, have you ever heard an acronym FMCG? Okay. FMCG simply means fast moving consumer goods, stuff that you use in your bathroom, home, kitchen, laundry, the basics of life. Or in simple words, stuff that you go to Walmart for, except the perishables maybe, right? Now, this is what we have exclusive range of brands. Okay, an average 30 to 40% discount and an opportunity for you to create income. So let me ask you this, Asu. If you could save money and have an opportunity to build income, would you be willing to change a brand? Let's say of a toothpaste.
Like, did you ask me
Either one of you. You're
Oh,
together.
okay. Like, and can you just repeat the question? So sorry for that.
That's okay. If you could have an opportunity to make income, okay, but you have to change your toothpaste brand, is that a big
Okay.
deal?
No.
I was not born with a Colgate or Close Up, right? So you have to understand, you will probably get exposed to a lot of new brands early on in your business journey. Just embrace, just try, just have fun with it, okay? And of course, do price comparisons with your engaging partner. That would be the next step, okay? All right. In addition, we have some core line partnerships, okay? We understand we don't want to compete with Apple. Why do that? Okay, Apple came to us and partnered with us. Today you can get special discounts because of this business partnership on Apple products. Okay, if you want more information on these all partner stores, there's only 5 or 6 listed here. We have 20 plus. Get back to your engaging partner. Okay, all right, let's go on to the next slide. Some more, let's keep on. Okay, now this is our platform. Remember I said 3 entities: the platform, the products and service, and who you're listening to today, the teaching and training system. So the platform is provided by Amway. Okay, anyone on this screen ever heard about Amway before? Shri, maybe.
Yeah.
What do you know about Amway so far?
I know they like distribute health products, like health tablets and some protein powders, I guess. I've heard it from India.
Okay, fair enough. Now take a look at this screen. Did you know any of this information before?
Yes, some of them.
Okay, which one, if you don't mind highlighting?
The sales and Forbes.
Okay, fantastic, right? So when I looked at this opportunity, I knew nothing about it. Okay, now Amway has 3 business models: sales, small networking, and assets. Okay, most of the time when I go back to my journey, I had looked at the sales model. Okay, so maybe when you go back to your engaging partner, understand the difference more between sales model versus asset model that we'll talk about today. Okay, but when I first saw this slide, what attracted to me is the bonuses. I was attracted to the money part of it. Okay, so simple as that, right? If a corporation is paying $8+ billion, making $8+ billion in sales, and has already given out $61 billion, $61 billion in bonuses for over 60 plus years, it proves the longevity of the opportunity, right? I was looking, if I'm going to spend my time and effort doing something else, it better be something that's going to last, right? So that's what appealed to me, and everybody, something different appeals to everybody else. So no worries about that. Okay, they also own the Orlando Magic football basketball team. Okay, in the Grand Arena there. So anyway, let's move on. Next slide, please. Okay, like I said, 100 plus countries. Okay, now this is the third entity I was talking to you about, the teaching and training system. Okay, this is the entity you're actually qualifying for. To get access to Amway or its products, you can Google Amway, get a 1-800 number, call them up, and they will assign you with somebody random. But for you to strategically build this business to a level where you can create income and convert it into passive income, you need coaching guidance from somebody who can help you, and tools and techniques to do that. That is what this system provides. Okay, some of it we'll cover today. The rest of it, go back and check with your engaging partner how these things work. They'll probably share some audio podcasts with you. Go listen to a couple of them. Okay, all right, next slide. By the way, we also have a major business conference. There's a virtual one coming up in a couple of weeks, actually, middle of April. Okay, you should probably ask your engaging partner about that. Okay, now let's, in the next 5 minutes or 5 to 7 minutes, we'll go through numbers. Okay, and although I love math, I try to keep the numbers simple and a little bit fast. What you want to do is get back to your engaging partner, and they can spend a little bit more extra time to break that number down to show you how the business model is fairly compensated. Okay, in my job, regardless of how well I work or how well I don't work, I never make more than my manager. I will always make more than my junior, even though he or she might be working more, or even though I might feel I'm working more than my manager, because that's a positional based hierarchy. Here we'll talk about performance based hierarchy. Okay. All right. So what do we do in this business? Three simple things. We shop for ourselves through the business platform, Amway's platform. On an average, as you explore, you'll see about a good 60 to 80% of your day-to-day needs, repeat needs, stuff that you buy again and again, okay, can probably be converted there. Not 100%, okay, but a good 60 to 80%, you should be able to do that over a period of 3 to 4 months. Second thing is we share our experiences on those products and services. And third thing is we help build a team by educating people to do the first two steps. Okay, now let's move on to the numbers here. Next slide, please. Okay, I'm going to explain some basic concepts here so you follow the rest of the math. Okay, Amway operates in 100 plus countries. So what Amway did is it came up with a common denominator so it can measure your business and reward you appropriately in each country. So there's something called point value. In US, $3 worth of product is roughly 1 point value. In UK, £1 is 1 point value. In Australia, 4 Australian dollars is 1 point value. If you're from India, about 80 rupees is roughly 1 point. Okay, so what point did is it normalized across currencies. So when I say 100 points in India versus Australia versus US, you know exactly what the business level is. I don't have to tell in currencies all the time. Okay, now if you Ganesh, would it be fair to say you spend $10 a day on stuff that you need, breakfast, bathroom products, kitchen products, basics of life?
Yeah.
So 10 to 15 a day is 300 to 450 a month.
Yes.
Okay, let's say you redirect 300 a month through your own business. Okay, that will give you 100 points because $3 is 1 point business. Okay, now there are three distinct bonuses on this screen. Okay, one of them is retail profit. Why would you switch to buying from Amway? Because there's built-in profit margin as compared to all the products that you buy outside. Okay, that can be anywhere from 10 to 40% depending on what your consumption pattern is. So at the minimum 10%. Okay, the customer sales, I would recommend you go back with your engaging partner and talk in depth. I might not have time to cover that, but we will focus in our next 3 slides on that second line called the performance bonus. At the beginning, you make 3% cashback performance bonus. 100 point qualifies you for 3%. 3% of what? The 300 that you spent. Okay, 350 in this case. Okay, actually this is a 150 point example. So if you're a single person spending 150 for $50, your 3% is going to be 13%. So what happened here, Ganesh, in a short nutshell, by redirecting where you get your products from with a 6 months money back guarantee, by the way, okay, you made and saved $54 for the month.
Yeah.
So if you're spending 350 outside, you're spending 300 here. Simple?
Yeah.
So in a year, that's about $600. Okay. So we spoke for about 35 minutes to tell you how to make 50 bucks a month. Okay, but let's look at the next steps. Next slide, please. Now, like I said, we have an 11-year-old son. When he was just learning to walk around, he needed a lot of help, right? We were there to make sure he doesn't fall off and things like that. Eventually, he's running and now he's doing a lot of other stuff, right? So early years in your business, you want to work with your engaging partner to build a team of like-minded, ambitious people who want more in life just like you do. Now, looking at me with glasses or without glasses, nobody can tell whether I have the ambition or not. And as much as you would like to think that you know your friends or family, when it comes to finances, the safest bet is to say you assume you don't. Because nobody openly talks about their dreams, goals, finances, even with the closest of family members. So let's assume that they are ambitious, but they know you. So the best way to approach them would be probably with your engaging partner who probably has more experience in doing it. Okay, so I would recommend not just tomorrow go on a call and talk to all your friends. Hey, I saw a crazy guy show me how to make $3,000 a month. Let's do it. They will think you had some other liquid last night. Okay, we don't want to get there. Okay, now there's a strategic step-by-step process for us to identify, just like you're going through right now. You're in step number 3 of a potential 5 to 6 step process. Okay, so you want to go through this whole process and then have your engaging partner take somebody go through the same process in the next after you learn the basics. Okay, now let's say over a course of next few months you build a team of six people. Some of them you might know, they may be your friend or neighbor. Some of them may be strangers you met along the way, maybe in your temple or a church or a sport that you go play to, or somebody on LinkedIn maybe. Okay, when you combine when they do what you did in step 1, you now have a total business volume that goes to close to about 1,000 points, roughly $3,000 worth of business redirected between you and the 6 people that you bring on. At that point, the performance level of your bonus goes from 3 to 12%. But people in your team, these 6 people also make the 3% that you made in the first step. So out of the 12% you will make from 3,150, everybody's 3% gets taken away. The rest is yours to keep. Now, if you look at that, that's 329. So Ganesh, we talked about spending 350 in the first step, where you made 50 back. Now out of that 350, you make 329 back. So let's do a simple math. How many dollars it took you to take care of yourself for the whole month?
I mean, $350.
Out of that, you got 329 back, right?
Yeah.
Can you
Oh,
imagine living a month in $21?
huh? What you said?
Can you imagine entire month's expense being $21? Can you live a month off of, if you just had $21 cash? Can you
No,
live a month off of it?
no, we cannot.
That is the power of networking. We do that network. We are doing it for Facebook, for WhatsApp, for Instagram, for our office. Here we are smartly building it for ourselves. Okay, so nothing complicated, but needs a step-by-step process to build it right. Okay, next slide, please. As your team grows, your income level will grow exponentially because the team is growing exponentially. Okay, again, have your engaging partner help you with the math at a detailed level. Okay, but hopefully you understand the pattern here. Okay, here with a 4 times 6, 24 plus yourself, 25 people team, you're looking at creating close to about $1,000 a month. Now everything that you spend your money on is taken care, and your rent probably is taken care, maybe half of it. Make sense? Next slide, please. This is the first significant level in the business, top of the performance bonus scale. It'll take you about a good 2 to 3 years, maybe a little bit more. Some people are top performers. They have done it in a year or less. Okay, but a reasonable 2 to 3 years working 10 to 15 hours with your engaging partner. First few months building the skill, next few months taking that skill and time to actually build your network. Okay, you're looking at replacing a good $3,000 check at home. I won't say replacing, adding on an extra 3,000 a month. Mosam and Asu, what would an extra 3,000 make a difference for you? What would that mean?
Huge difference, honestly.
Yeah.
That because we are both still students and still paying the tuition fees, so the 3,000 would make a huge difference in our lives.
As a matter of fact, my own coach in this business who brought Mukta and I into the team, he has helped students in a matter of a couple of years take care of close to 6-figure loan. Not even reaching at this level, just through financial. What kind of value would you put to that kind of an advice? Has anybody ever come to you and told you, let me show you how to budget your finances so you can pay off your loans faster?
Never.
So there's more to this picture than what I can share here. Get back with your engaging partner after today. Okay? All right, let's try to wrap it up in a few minutes. All right. Next slide, please. Okay, now remember I said 2 stages of business. The first stage that we just completed was active building a network to get to that 3,000 level. Okay, now we want to build asset. How do we build asset? By helping other individuals and families get to the same 3,000 level. For every individual or a family member or a person in your network that you help to get that level, in addition to the 3,000 that you made at the top of the performance level in the prior slide, you make an additional 6% bonus, leadership bonus. If I can go back to the prior slide once, please. At this level of 2,500, 7,500 points, sorry, 25% and 7,500 points, the business volume is $27,000. By the way, you're not paying that, okay? You're still doing your 300, 350. 6% of that 27,000, next slide please, is what we are talking about as a residual income. It'll be a minimum of close to about $1,350. Mosam and Asu, who invited you on this call?
Nakul
Nakul.
and
Okay,
Nanika.
okay, fantastic couple. Okay, now, as a matter of fact, we have huge respect for them. Okay, if they could help you make an extra 3,000, and the corporation pays them a 1,300 check, would you have a problem with that?
No.
Out of the 3,000 or
No, your 3,000 is separate, their 1,300 is separate. Both comes from the corporation.
they deserve
Good
it?
question, okay? I'm glad you asked it. Okay, so would you have a problem with that?
No, they deserve it if we do get the 3,000.
And the benefit is, if you want to make 6,000, they are willing to help you because their 1,300 will become 2,700.
Yeah.
That is called a win-win partnership. That's one thing that's missing in any other aspect of finance in life. Whether you're working for somebody, investing, doing a part-time job, whatever it is, there isn't a platform where you can have a win-win partnership. If shareholders take more, owner's profit goes down. If customers get more discount, shopkeepers' margin goes down. It's a win-lose. If you work more and get more money, your spouse is not happy. It's a big win-lose. Make sense? So this is the only platform I saw with a win-win. Okay, next slide, please. Now, one simple question that a lot of people have that I had, okay, is this a pyramid? Disha, what do you think?
Yes, it is.
Structural, definitely. How about money-wise, financial?
I didn't understand your question exactly.
Okay. In this picture, let's say every circle here, from A through all the blue Q12, okay? Everybody makes that at least that 3,000 that we talked in the first slide, the previous slide, okay? Everybody is at least at that level, okay? And also, I also told you about how for helping every one person, you make an extra 1,350. So keeping those two factors in mind, now tell me who in this slide, in this picture, makes the most income? A, B, or C?
I think the person who is at the top of the pyramid, maybe the person A.
Person A. Okay, that's a reasonable guess. Ruchi, what do you think? I can't hear you. Okay, maybe me will. If you can fix your audio, that'll be great. But Dilshad, how about you? Oh, I lost Dilshad there.
I think so, A.
Why do you think A?
Because as far as you have like I explained all the models, so it operates in that way. So maybe A eventually will get all this like some portion of C, and still he has B, and B has two more quadrants. So that's the reason.
And that is where logic has a limit, unless you understand the math behind things. Okay, now let's talk about this. Everybody here is making at least 3,000 by themselves. A helped B, he made one check of 1,350, correct? B helped Q12C, Q12, 3 people. B made, in addition to 3,000, 3 checks of 1350. Are you following my math now? So now who do you think makes the most money?
See then.
C. Got it? So the income flows at the point of performance, not position. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. Okay, if you want to understand in more detail, get back to the person who invited you and they can walk you through this math again. Okay, all right, next slide please. Okay, now that 3,000 that we talked about, if you maintain it month out of every month, 12 months out of 12, that's a $36,000 yearly bonus. And if you do it with certain other parameters that the system recommends to have a steady, predictable, profitable business month in, month out, additional 20,000 bonuses come in. So you're actually looking at a $56,000 income at that level itself, yearly income. And at that level, you get 1 free vacation from the corporation for a week, you, your spouse, maybe family member, to some resort, some destination within continental North America. We're talking about North America here. Okay, that has a cash value of roughly, from what I know last from my senior business partner, is roughly 5,000. So you're looking at a $60,000 asset that you've built over the course of next 2 to 5 years. Okay, as the number of people you help increases, number of people you help get to that 3,000 income increases, you get to bigger rewards and bigger destinations and a much high performance bonuses. Okay, so if you are a travel guy, okay, it's a good opportunity. Hope you make sure you qualify. Okay, all right, next slide please. Okay, now what are we looking for, or what are some of the things that will help you qualify to move on to the next step and eventually get a potential partnership offer from the team? Okay, take some time to write down your short-term, long-term goals and discuss it with your engaging partner. See, I live in Chicago. If I need to go to one of my coach's house in Detroit, I can probably drive. But another one of my senior partner lives in Bay Area, California. Now I could drive, but it'll be a long drive, right? And if me and Mukta want to go to visit our family back home, I need to change the vehicle, right? So based on where you want to go, your vehicle will be different. Okay, so if you want to take advantage of this vehicle, you need to know where you want to go. So take some time to write down your short-term, long-term goals. Get back with your engaging partner, learns. There will be a lot of questions. You have seen the model for the first time. Don't expect to know everything. Expect you will have questions, expect you will have doubt. When we don't expect a pothole in the road, we get surprised. But when we do, we can walk around it or we can drive around it. Make sense? So expect some questions, some concerns, but take time to engage with your senior partner and get those clarified. Okay, now next slide please. Okay, in wrapping up, and I'm going to bring Mukta here. Okay, an educated person is never at the mercy of people with opinion. So the way for you to make your own case better in this opportunity to get a qualification from the engaging partner is that you take ownership to learn more from them. They might give you some more another book to read, maybe some audio or video podcast to listen to, maybe set up a follow-up time to get your questions answered. Until you go through all 4 steps, hold on to the desire to jump to a conclusion, yes or no. You might be excited and you might say, register me tomorrow. No, not going to happen. But you might be skeptical. I still recommend you go back and talk to them one more time. Make sense? But I had fun talking to you because I did all the talking. Okay, but that's what you need to be successful. A loudmouth husband and a hardworking wife. So please welcome my hardworking wife, Mukta.
Thank you. Well, thank you, Shail. That was a simple business plan that was shared. And just to give a little perspective from my side, when Shail and myself were going through a similar vetting process, just like you, we had very simple needs. We were looking for something that we could build on the side without without putting our careers at risk. We were looking for something with minimal financial commitments, minimal operating risk, because coming back from the country that we are and the conservative background, we were just too afraid to spread too far. And also, we were looking for some guidance. And with that, those factors in mind, we started our journey for the vetting process. Now, of course, during the course of that, once we qualified, many of our family members and maybe friends questioned, like, why do you want to do something? You could rather save, and your retirement would be much, taken care of. Or why don't you just build an app? Coming from IT background as Shail is and myself, why don't you just build an app? But when we sat down and really gave a thought to it, a genuine that marketing an app is a different ballgame altogether, which we did not have. And also, if what will happen if one of our job goes away or something happens, right? Who will take care of our personal economy at home? Those were the simple factors. Now, as we've been part of the business team for a couple of, for some time, we've been fortunate to associate with people who have been able to replace their, their professional income through this business income. So what does had provided them, right? A flexibility to do whatever they want to do. Plus, they are willing to share their knowledge. And in the process, it has helped us not only improve our finances, improve our spiritual life, improve our family life, but overall in turn, become a better person in general. So if you're here for the first time again, I wish you all the best. Hope you qualified for the next steps. But all in all, what will it take is keep your future desired state intact. Keep your willingness to learn for whatever you have had so far intact as you go through the next level of interaction with your business partner. With that,
Awesome. With that, back to Praveen and Pravalika.
Wow. Thank you, Shail Mukta. That was incredible. Doing justice to a multi-billion-dollar corporation in less than an hour, only people like that can do it. So really, really appreciate you taking the time and doing this, Shail Mukta. Right from sharing the finer aspects of business like the operating costs, the scalabilities, the value of systems in business, that was a masterclass. Really appreciate you taking the time and simplifying it to the extent that you did. Really, thank you. So to bring the session to the close tonight, I would like to actually introduce a couple of our wrap-up speakers to provide a different perspective to the different phases of life other than what Shail and Mukta are right now in. So to first introduce, we have a student named Chad Gray, who's currently a full-time student at Southwestern Illinois College, and is getting his certification in welding technology. But what sets him apart as a young student is he is building a thriving business at the young phase of life that he is in. With no further ado, help me welcome Mr. Chad Gray.
Thank you, Provin and Portica, for that awesome introductions. How you doing, guys? I am Chad Gray Jr. As they've instructed, I am a student at Southwestern Illinois College studying welding and technology. I just wanted to share a different perspective on what Shail and Mukta talked about on this amazing business being your opportunity that was given. Just a little bit of perspective on what I've seen for this opportunity for the first time, what made me really have that burning passion when I seen it for the first time. As Shail Mukta has said, everyone is going to have a good life, but when I saw this opportunity, I knew I could have a great and excellent life. Key factors that I really saw in the opportunity was just the unique background and culture of seeing everyone have a supportive and collective mindset of working on something. Another big aspect I saw this opportunity gave me was the access to actually pursue my dream and not work for somebody else and someone that help them build their dream, somebody else's dream, basically. And my last key point that I really highlighted was from this opportunity was the ability to build a generation legacy for somebody else. I knew I was going to work a job, but being able to give the opportunity to my kids and actually give them some vibe besides that, with that, some insights that I would volunteer for first and second timer is that everyone's going to have a opinion on what you do when you start something new. It's how you deal with it that makes you here. And education is a big factor in the things that change you. So I encourage you to embrace it. And that mentorship is a big backbone of this opportunity. So if you embrace that and you utilize the right way, your efforts will be multiplied. with that, I want to go ahead and pass it back to Erwin and Portica.
Awesome. Thank you, Chad. Thank you for sharing your nuggets. I guess you can now see the difference between a student versus student entrepreneur. The way you think is completely different. So thank you for sharing your wisdom, Chad. Now, to wrap up our session, we have someone who's starting to create waves in our industry with his relentless work ethic and his passion. Mr. Stephen Neo, he works in the embedded software engineering field out of Dayton, Ohio. But along with that, he has put together a business that already spans multiple states in America. With no further ado, help me welcome Mr. Stephen.
Thank you for the warm welcome, Praveen and Pravalika. And good evening, everyone. My name is Steven, and it's an absolute pleasure to be able to briefly speak to everyone today. And what a phenomenal webinar so far, right? With our speakers, Mr. Shail Mukta, leading the presentation today. I don't think it's a very common occurrence to have people with such high caliber, having success in both their corporate career and also their business career to take their time out of their busy life and share their experience and thought process with all of us, right? So thank you so much, Shail Mukta, for all the prior preparation you have done. And I know today, many people say that they have a busy schedule, right? But for me, I had the honor and privilege to be able to interact with them, personally getting to know them a little better. They showed me what is possible, right? Even with 2 jobs and a family to raise, they're still running an international business venture. Right? I think that really says something about the importance of building our own business on the side of our primary income, in our economic climate today. And one thing I also learned from them is that it is not just about what we know in business, but who we know in business that comes into picture, right? The people that we associate with and learn from. I think that there's a common belief that business owners need to watch out for themselves and only themselves, so that they're considered independent and being their own boss, and they're in control of everything. Because at the end of that, there's a lot of responsibility to watch out for our own blind spots, right? But just like Mr. Shell mentioned, we're all independent business owners, right? Positioned in a win-win situation to watch out for each other, right? This really reminds me of like an old Chinese proverb that says, if we give a man to fish, we feed him for a day. But if we teach a man to fish, we feed him for a lifetime, right? When I started my business, I thought entrepreneurship is about learning the skill sets to sell products and services, whether it's fish or anything else, right? But I learned that it's more about learning from each other, the values and mindsets of being an entrepreneur. And that's the only thing that I believe lasts a lifetime, right? Many people ask for seed money to start growing a business themselves. But I'd say that this environment is one of the most fertilized environments for seeds of entrepreneurial desires to grow. So, for the people who are here for the very first time, I would also urge you to get back to your engaging partner, as mentioned, right? And all the best with the remaining steps of the selection process. Hope I made some sense today, was able to add some value. With that, back to our awesome host, Praveen and Pravalika.
Awesome. Thank you, Stephen. It's just not what you know, but who you know that makes the difference. Thank you for sharing. With that, we come to the end of this session. Thank you, Shail Mukta, Chad Gray, and Stephen Neo for taking your time and sharing with the larger team tonight. As the speakers did recommend, do set up the follow-up meeting as recommended and see if you can get any of your questions answered. I hope you make the most of the opportunities provided to you. With that, I wish you the very best for the rest of your process. Good night and a safe trip back to your bedrooms or kitchens, wherever your road leads you next.